All rise for the Sixth Circuit Court presiding Judge Randall Rosenbaum, Sixth Circuit Court Judge Carl Koritz, Judge Richard Broach, along with judges of the Sixth Circuit Court.
Please be seated, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. I want to welcome you here to this very happy occasion, the swearing in of our newest associate judge, Matt Lee. You've all taken time out of your busy days to help celebrate this moment. And it's wonderful to have with us Matt and some of his family, some of his friends, his colleagues, and members of our judiciary. With social distancing, we have limited space for people here in the courtroom. Without such restrictions, I assure you our courtroom would be filled. I also want to welcome Matt's family and friends and anybody else viewing this remotely. My name is Randy Rosenbaum, and I am the Champaign County presiding judge. On occasions such as this, we oftentimes have Justice Rita Garman from the Illinois Supreme Court. This time we don't have that privilege. She was unable to attend it, but she sends her congratulations and best wishes to Matt and to his entire family. Matt's installation is an historic one in Champaign County. We have 11 judges here, both circuit and associate judges, and we've had a lot of turnover. In fact, in the last 5 to 6 years, all 11 judges retired. The most recent one was Judge Kennedy last month. Once Matt is sworn in to replace Judge Kennedy, he will complete the turnover of the entire Champaign County judiciary in a relatively short period of time. We miss those judges who are gone because they brought a wealth of knowledge and experience. But the current 10 judges are good judges. In fact, I think they're terrific. They're bright, articulate, and hardworking. They care about the law and doing what's right. And on top of that, we're a good team. We get along well. We want to ensure Champaign County citizens that we have the best possible judiciary to make the best possible decisions we can. Matt is about to join this group, and he fits in very well. He has worked as a lawyer in a variety of positions and in a number of different communities. He is respected by judges, lawyers, and clients. He has a strong sense of fairness, knowing what's right and what's wrong. These are traits that are important not only to a lawyer, but are vital to being a judge. The citizens of Champaign County and the entire Sixth Circuit are fortunate to be getting a judge with such qualities. To formally introduce Matt and administer the oath of office, I'm going to turn to one of Matt's friends and future colleagues, presiding judge of DeWitt County, Carl Koritz.
Welcome and good afternoon. This is a happy afternoon, is it not? My name is Carl Koritz. I'm the presiding judge of DeWitt County, and it's my honor and it's my privilege to introduce to you today new Judge Matt Lee. I'd like to tell you a few things about him. Matt was born in Taiwan. At the age of 1, he came over to the United States with his family. After stops in Minnesota, Canada, and Colorado, he eventually ended up with his family in Naperville, Illinois. And he graduated from Naperville High School in 1996. And after scoring higher on his ACT than I did, he went to the University of Illinois for his undergrad. And he graduated there in 2000. And then after scoring higher on his LSAT than I did, he went to the University of Illinois College of Law, where he graduated in 2003. Matt excelled academically. He had a number of options available to him when he graduated law school. He could have gone anywhere. He could have accepted a high-profile job on the East Coast and drawn a lot of water in a beach community. He could have been an urban achiever in the Chicago legal scene if he wanted to do that, but he decided to stay here in central Illinois, and I'm glad he did. He worked at the McLean County State's Attorney's Office from 2003 to 2014, 11 years. And just recently, strike that, in 2014, he went over to the Meyer Capel local law firm where he practiced until just recently. He served as the administrative hearing officer for the city of Bloomington and then for the city of Charleston. He's active in his community. He's the vice chair of the oversight board at the Covenant Fellowship Church, and he's a past board member for Family Service of Champaign County. But McLean County was where I first met Matt. When I got out of law school, I worked a couple of years in the insurance defense litigation field in Peoria, and I came over to McLean County in 2007. And at that point, he had already been in the office for 3 years, I believe. And one of the good things about McLean County, much like Champaign County, I imagine, is that in the state's attorney's office, there are over 20 assistant state's attorneys. There are a number of assistant public defenders. There are 12 courtrooms with 12 different judges. And what a learning ground that was. What an opportunity to learn from each other. And we took advantage of that. It was common practice. If we didn't have a trial, we'd go watch one of our fellow ASAs as a group perform at trial. We'd watch the judges. We'd study the judges. If we hadn't seen one judge preside over a trial before, we would go into that courtroom. And we'd often ask each other to watch our performance and give notes. And once we observed, one trial, it was on to the next round robin of trials, and we just, that's what we did when we had free time, and that's the best way to learn. And I remember the first time I met Matt, I don't know if we'd met formally at this point. The first trial that I saw Matt do, I was free in the afternoon, and I walked down to a trial. And I can't remember who was in front of him, perhaps Judge Suk or Judge Freitag. And Matt was the prosecutor, and the defendant in that case was a man who was charged with stabbing his paramour. In order to get close to her and take her by surprise, he had pretended to be in an amorous mood, in the parlance of our times. And in Matt's closing, I remember exactly what he said. He looked at each juror as if he were talking to a friend, and he just simply told the crime of the story itself. And he said in his closing, I remember, they locked eyes across the room. The defendant closed the distance between the two of them, and as he approached the woman with whom he shared a home and a bed, he wrapped his left arm around her shoulders and brought his face close to hers. But instead of whispering sweet nothings into her ear, with his right hand he plunged the knife deep into her side. And I was sitting in the back row, and I thought, wow, that's poetry. That's what I want to do. And one of the things that I learned most about Matt, and learned most from Matt, was that as attorneys, it's our job to persuade. That's what we do. We're in the persuasion business, and to do that effectively, you have to relate to people, and you have to connect to people, and you have to talk with them and not at them. And Matt was always very good at doing that. And I'm still amazed when I see attorneys who haven't yet recognized that the objective of a jury trial is not to impress the jury, it's to persuade the jury. And that's what I took from Matt. He was a great communicator. He was a very effective trial attorney, not so much because juries liked him, but because he liked them. And he treated them with respect and with dignity. And we were a close group at the McLean County State's Attorney's Office for those 5 years. About 6 to 7 of us would go out to lunch most every day. Usually we'd head over to our favorite burger joint on Camrose. Our group actually included now Champaign Assistant State's Attorney Matt Bannock, and I walk out here and I see a couple familiar faces from McLean County like John Shim and Mark Messman, and I'm happy to see you here today. And thank you for being here and supporting Matt. Over a Note Soda or a Sioux City sarsaparilla, we'd talk about law and life and our strange cases that we worked on, and we debated very important issues. Issues like, what is the appropriate response to a combat veteran's well-intentioned but overzealous exercise of his Second Amendment rights within a community bowling alley? What is the significance of the Supreme Court roundly rejecting prior restraint? What are the rights and responsibilities falling upon a temporary custodian of a pedigreed companion animal while its owner is vacationed in Hawaii? Is it a wise use of prosecutorial resources to pursue criminal charges for a fraudulent 69-cent check written to purchase a small carton of half and half? These are the issues that we debated in our spare time. We would challenge each other to incorporate movie references and closing arguments, but we were usually too scared to go through with it. Or in the moment, we would simply think better of it if it couldn't be done professionally without going over the line. This was our concern. More than once, Matt mentioned a beautiful young woman named Jennifer, who would become Matt's special lady and eventually the mother of his 3 children, Joseph, Stephen, and Daniel, who I see here today. Matt was as happy as I've ever seen anybody in those days, and I know how special it is for Matt to share this day with her and their family. I mentioned earlier Matt's skills at persuasion. That he's being sworn in today is evidence of that. Those skills served him well because it was stiff competition for this job. Of the 23 applicants for the associate judge position, there were more than a handful who would have made excellent, very capable judges here in this county. And in fact, I'm impressed when I come here for interviews for the Champaign County associate positions, just how deep the field is here in Champaign County and how many excellent candidates there are. The interview process is important for all of us as circuit judges, and I enjoy it particularly, and I have several reasons for that. One, I get to know and meet local attorneys and put faces to names. I'm in DeWitt County. I wouldn't rather be any other place, but it is kind of the Siberian outpost of the Sixth Circuit. And I don't get to see a lot of attorneys who practice in Champaign or Macon. They don't make it to DeWitt. And so I enjoy getting to see new faces and seeing all of the talented attorneys. Like I said, I'm in DeWitt County. I'm somewhat isolated. I'm the only judge in town, so I don't have an opportunity to work with and talk and discuss cases with my colleagues. Like Matt will have that luxury here going forward. So it's nice to see the fellow circuit judges and get to know them better, particularly those judges I haven't come to know very well yet, like Judge Lementato and Judge Dyer and Judge Sullivan, who've been appointed or taken the bench very recently. And so I enjoy working together in a collaborative fashion with those judges. But even more importantly, the interview process is a professional boost for me and I think all of us circuit judges, because it helps us to appreciate just how fortunate we are to have this trust and to have this responsibility and to wear the robe. There were 23 applicants from varied backgrounds with incredible intellect and remarkable experience seeking this job that I already have the privilege to hold. When I consider what their resumes are, and I compare that to my resume when I first took the bench, it's humbling. And there are a number, like I said, I can't say it enough, just a number of well-qualified, wonderful applicants in this community. And it makes you appreciate the blessings and the responsibilities in your own life, interviewing these people who want that job and seek that job. And it's also an opportunity for reflection and introspection. As we interview these candidates, as you can imagine, they're often asked, what do you think the ideal qualities of a judge are? What makes you a better candidate for judge than somebody else? And you hear these candidates answer those questions, and our job as circuit judges is to ask ourselves, does this candidate have those qualities? But when you're asking that question, you can't help but ask yourself, do I have those qualities? And do I have those qualifications? And am I still aspiring to be and working toward becoming a better judge and a better person? And this is a question that we should ask ourselves. And the interviews remind us that we must ask ourselves this question every day. Do I have those qualities? I would say I continue to work on it, but I'm confident our new judge, Judge Lee, does indeed have those qualities. He's a good man and thorough. Judge Lee, would you step forward, please, and take the oath? Raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Matthew Lee,
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Associate Judge
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Associate Judge
of the Circuit Court for the 6th Judicial Circuit of Illinois
of the Circuit Court for the 6th Judicial Circuit of Illinois,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations, Judge Lee.
Thank you. How am I supposed to reach my notes now? Oh yeah, they're here. Okay. All right. Honorable members of the judiciary, fellow members of the bar, family and friends. For once in my life, I'm truly at a loss for words, so I'm really going to keep my comments brief. There's a scripture passage that I really love, and it says that the Son of Man, referring to Christ, came not to be served, but to serve. That is an ethos or attitude that I have tried very imperfectly to emulate in my life, the way I do my job, the way I carry myself as a human being. And that has never been more important or appropriate than today. It's very gratifying to earn the trust and the respect of your peers. And from what I can tell, judges seem to get treated pretty nicely, especially within the confines of this building. But at the end of the day, I know full well that in this new role that begins for me today, I'm not here to be served. I'm here to serve. It is a great privilege, but also an awesome responsibility to be charged with acting on behalf of the system of justice that we have to make sure that every person that has their day in court is given a fair shake under the law and is treated with dignity, the dignity that is inherent in every human being created in the image of God. So I pledge to you today that I will give my heart and my soul to strive to live up to this worthy calling. I want to spend the rest of my time just giving my thanks and appreciation to so many people that have been instrumental to me in this journey. To the circuit judges of the 6th Judicial Circuit, I want to thank you for placing your trust in me to join such an outstanding group of individuals. I'm beyond thrilled. It is my honor to be counted among you, and you've welcomed me with open arms since day one. I just can't wait to get started and learn from all of you. To the associate judges, I want to thank you for reaching out to me at every opportunity to offer your help and spend time trying to help me get acclimated. I know I'll be leaning on you a lot, especially these first few months, so I thank you for your generosity and your concern. To my Meyer Capel family, I cannot say enough how much it means to me, how much I will cherish being your colleague. You are truly the best attorneys that I know, and more than that, you've really become a second family to me, so I will dearly miss being a part of your team. And I thank you for making my experience there such a wonderful time. I want to especially recognize my longtime partner, Mark Lipton, who, as many of you know, I've worked most closely with these last few years. Mark, you're old enough to be my father. In fact, you're older than my father by several years. Now, he's turning his smiley face upside down on his mask, ladies and gentlemen. This is unprecedented. You know, I know that annoys you when I remind you that, but I'm telling you that here in front of all these people because I want you to know that I respect you the same way I respect my father. That's how much I look up to you. That's how much you've meant to me in my career and as a friend. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for mentoring me and for being, in my mind, the consummate example of what an excellent attorney is. Aside from the cursing, but other than that, you're a perfect 10 in my book, so I'll be seeing you and Patty around, and try not to miss me too much. To To Jacelyn, my assistant, and to Jamie, my other assistant before her, everybody in the office knows that I would have been lost without you guys. So thank you for putting up with me all these years and for taking such good care of me and our clients. You are truly the best. I will miss you very much. To my spiritual mentors, G. Samanim, I want to thank you and your husband, Pastor Min, and Jeep Sanim for caring for my soul and just looking after me. You've been in my life for the better part of 25 years, not only helping me, but my wife and our kids through all types of situations. And I know you've been through a lot and your family has been through a lot recently, but I hope that days like today remind you that your labor is not in vain. Thank you for everything. I'm truly indebted to you. To my brother Mike, who is here with his lovely wife Esther and their children, Jude, Gwen, and Liv, and Esther's parents, who are also very close to me. They're in the back row. Thank you so much for coming down from Chicago to be here. Mike, I want to apologize for being the typical rotten older brother when we were kids, just bossing you around and being hard on you. I'd like to think I've changed a little since then, but the fact that we're so close now is really a testament to you. You know, even though you're my kid brother, I've always looked up to you because of your heart, because of the way that you put other people's needs above your own. And so I thank you for being my biggest supporter all these years, even when I didn't deserve it. And Mike and Esther, I really wish Ava was here today. But I like to think she's looking down on us from heaven, and I hope she's proud of me. I hope she's proud of her uncle today the same way we've always been proud of her. Excuse me. To my mom and dad, who couldn't be here today, they live overseas, and they couldn't fly back because of COVID, but I hope they'll get to watch this sometime. Thank you for instilling in me the faith and the values that make me who I am. The fact that you are continuing to serve and help others in need halfway across the world in ways that are difficult and require so much sacrifice, it's nothing short of inspirational to me. You are truly my heroes. And I hope to do a fraction of the good in my life that you've done and continue to do in yours. I love you very much. To my in-laws, Henry and Sue, who are here all the way from New Jersey in the front row. Maybe besides wearing this robe, my biggest accomplishment is being so well loved by my in-laws, which, as I understand it, doesn't always happen. But you know, that's because of you. That's because of who you are. And ever since your daughter and I got together, you've treated me like your own flesh and blood. And I can't thank you enough. You mean so much to me, and your support, your unconditional love. It is just beyond priceless. So thank you. I love you very much. Dad, I will never forget the story you told about the horrible experience you had with a judge in traffic court many years ago. Now, this is in New Jersey, so nobody we know, all right? Don't try to think of... but you told me that you were made to feel small and belittled and maybe even mistreated. And I'm sorry that happened to you. I'd like to hope that if someone just like you were to walk into my courtroom one day, they would come away feeling or believing that our system of justice works, that it's fair without passion or prejudice. But thank you for that story, and I hope to keep it with me and remember that. To my boys, Joseph, Stephen, and Daniel, who's knocked out in that little, he's starting to wake up, which could be a problem. You guys are my pride and joy, and I don't think you understand what's going on right now, but basically, I'm starting a new job today. It's a very important job, but I want you to always remember that no matter what, being your daddy will always be my most important and my favorite job in the whole world. I love you guys. And finally, to my beautiful wife, Jennifer, there are no words to describe what you mean to me and how much I appreciate you, not only because of all that you've done for me and for our boys, but most of all for who you are. You are my best friend. You are the best human being that I know. And every day you inspire me to want to be a better person. And I'm the luckiest man in the world to be able to live life with you at my side. I love you. That's really all I have, folks. So thank you once again for being part of this special day with me. God bless you all.
I want to thank all of you for being here today, both in person and remotely. This is obviously a special occasion, not just for Matt and his family, but for the judiciary as well. I think I speak on behalf of the entire judiciary when I say this to you, Matt. We have the utmost confidence in you. We know you're going to do a great job, and we all look very forward to working with you in the future. I want to congratulate Judge Lee and his family. I want to thank all of you for being here today. Feel free to mingle amongst yourselves and say hi and congratulate the judge and his family. But at this point, we will be in recess. Thank you.
All rise. See it or?
Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations.
Great job!
Before you get home, congratulations. I look forward to seeing what you're doing. We'll be around. If you need something, let us know.
All right. Thanks for being here.
I wanted to study something.